Anger is a blessing given to us by God. Anger is a gift that God created us to leverage on in order to create the kind of life we want. But we live in a kind of society that want to make us to believe that anger is a bad thing. And that is why it is so common to see that when someone expresses his or her anger, we tend to say that that person has an anger issue. But the truth is, just as the fire can be used to cook food in a positive way for us, the same fire can be used in burning down the house. And that is to say that the fire that can cook food for you and the fire that can also burn down the house is neither good or bad. But it all depends on the usage of the fire. So also, anger is neither good nor bad. It all depends on how we use it. But if it is not yet clear to you that anger is a blessing, then I will encourage you to be patient with me to watch the video from the beginning to the end, as I will share the story of great men that has leveraged the power of anger to change their life and to change the history of the world. And as well, I'm going to share with you how you yourself you can leverage anger to change the situation around you. Because in our journey of self-reliance, we must leverage anger to change and to create the kind of life we want. So the first example of the great man that used anger to change his life and to globally impact the life of people in almost all the continents of the world is Robert Greene. Robert Greene is a prolific author that is globally recognized in almost all the continents of the world. And he wrote a classic book titled 48 Laws of Power. I believe you might have heard about that book. That book has been translated into several languages in almost all the continents of the world. And in his one of interviews that Robert Greene did, he narrated how he came about 48 laws of power. And he said that the book called 48 Laws of Power was written out of anger. Prior to the writing of that book, Robert Greene was unknown. It was after when he wrote that book that he was globally recognized. Until today, that book is still making waves just as at when it was written. People are still praising Robert Greene because of that book. And Robert Greene came out to tell us that he wrote that book out of anger. You might ask, anger about what? That is a good question. Robert Greene said that he was working at the corporate world, was an employee. Then his boss used to maltreat him, both the people that are superior to him at the office. They used to screw him up, they used to take advantage of him, they used to use the power against him. They used to control him. You know how when people tend to like occupy a position that is superior to others, they will tend to leverage that power against those that are inferior to them. So Robert Greene was a victim of people using power against him. So because of that, he decided to do a thorough research about what constitutes power and about how people tend to use power against others. He was seriously angry about that. And then he did a thorough research to come up with one of the classic books in history today. Because that book, until the end of this world, that book is still going to be useful. Because that book tells everything we need to know about power in the society, how people tend to use their power to oppress others. That book highly resonates with a lot of people in the society, including me. That book is still going to be useful to the unborn children that are yet to be born. So instead of Robert Greene to be whining and be complaining, he channeled his anger in a positive way to change his life, not just his life, and to change the life of others globally. Because that book is one of the recognized book in history today. That is one of the examples of the great men that used anger to change his life and the life of others. Now, another example in the Western world is the great basketballer that is globally recognized as Kobe Bryant. He is late now. May his soul rest in perfect peace. But Kobe Bryant narrated the same story as how he used anger to change his life. He said, and I quote, that anger contributed to his success in the world of basketball. He said that the reason why he has a great competitive spirit to be undefeated by anyone is rooted in his anger. That his competitive spirit stemmed from the fact that he has a great reservoir of anger within himself. So he said that for him to let that anger be channeled in a negative direction, he channeled that anger to make himself successful. Until today, in the history of basketball, in the next generation or 5 generations to come, will never forget the name of Kobe Bryant, despite the fact that he is late now. That is how anger can be used to change our life. The third person in the Western world that used anger to change his life and to change the life of many others globally is Dr. Myles Munroe. He's also late now. He was late in 2014. Dr. Myles Munroe is a pastor. He has transformed so many lives. He has impacted millions of people globally, if not billions. And Dr. Myles Munroe said that he started his church because of anger. And his reason was that during the time of Roman Empire, the people of Rome said that people with flat nose like Myles Munroe were created to be followers. They said that people like Myles Munroe that don't have charisma can never be a leader. They said that people like Myles Munroe were created by God to be a follower. And when Munroe got to hear that, he was so angry, and then he did a lot of studies. He had revelation from God, and then he started his church as a result of anger. So from those three examples in the Western world, you might probably believe now that anger can help you upgrade your life and can also help you to reach and impact as many people as possible by channeling your anger in a positive way. Now let's bring it home to our own country. The film called The Tribe of Judas, written and produced by Funke Akindele. That film, though I have not heard from Funke Akindele as to why he created that film, but when you watch that film, you notice that that film was written and produced out of anger to critique what is going on in Lagos State. That film was written after when Funke Akindele lost the election to, because she was supposed to be elected as a vice president, as a PDP candidate. So he wrote that film to criticize everything that happened in that election. But though she didn't voice it out that she wrote that film out of anger, but when you watch that film and you see the storyline, you can see that, you will definitely see that she wrote that film to criticize what happened during that election. And she wrote that film out of anger. And you and I will agree that that film called Tribe of Judas is a success. People resonate with it. And another film also produced in Lagos that was highly received by people was this film called Gang of Lagos. Gang of Lagos was written by Asiberu, and it was also produced by Asiberu. She produced that movie to criticize the way area boys in Lagos used to behave. She wrote that film out of anger. Two of them did not come outside to tell us that they wrote that their movies out of anger, but by watching those movies, you will notice that they wrote those both films out of anger to criticize what is happening in Lagos State. And people resonated with those films because of their realness, how vividly they capture what is going on in Lagos State. Now, the third one that I would like to share with you is how His Excellency Mr. President won the election. If you are good with history, you will notice that His Excellency Mr. Tinubu is a mentee and a friend to Abiola that was killed during the election. Abiola is a friend and a mentor to Tinubu, and Abiola was killed during the election. He was aspiring, he was one of the candidates to be elected as a president that year, and he was killed. And you can attribute the success of His Excellency Tinubu to the fact that he came up with anger. All his strategy was seriously out of anger, because he has been planning it. He has been furious all these years, planning and trying to agitate for the fact that they killed his mentor during the election. So he came up this time, during his time, with a lot of strategies to do everything possible for him to win the election, so that he will not be killed like his mentor. So he actually came with anger. That was why he was so strategic, that he was able to make moves with people that he knows that they are going to be of help to him. People that will like secure him, people that will secure the election for him. He was able to make strategic moves more than Abiola, because he has learned his lesson as to what happened to Abiola, his mentor. So he came out to become the president out of anger. And when you see his strategies, you notice that the man really meant what he's doing. So that is how anger can be used to change your life and the life of people that you want to change. That is how anger can be used to make a positive impact in your life and in the life of others. Now, over to you. From all these examples that I have shared with you, you might have learned one or two things. How are you going to use anger? My question to you is how you, in your own life, how are you going to use that? How are you going to use that anger in your life to change your life? That person that says that you will never amount to anything, how are you going to prove that person wrong? How are you going to be agitated through what that person has told you, that you will not amount to anything? Are you going to be whining and complaining? How are you going to use your anger to change the financial challenges around you that you are going through right now? How are you going to leverage anger to actually defeat poverty in your life and in your home? How are you going to use anger to make positive impact in the life of people that you care about? Are you going to join people that say that anger is a bad thing? Or you are going to channel it positively? Or you are going to channel the anger constructively in order to change your life and the people that you care about? So what I want you to know and take home from this video, the fact that I don't want you and I on a journey of self-reliance to see anger as a bad thing. Anger is a great tool in your toolbox in your journey of self-reliance. Anger is a weapon that you can use to change your life. Anger is an instrument in your hand to either use to destroy yourself or others, or to use it to change your life in a positive regard and the life of people around you that you want to change. I want you to know that anger is neither bad nor good, but it is all depends on how you and I choose to use it on our journey of self-reliance. That money problem that you have been facing and you've been angry about, you can channel that anger in a positive regard and make things happening for yourself and your loved ones. So that is all I have for us today. So from today, I want you and I on this journey to see anger as a blessing from God to us. I want us to see anger as a gift from God to you and I on this journey of self-reliance. So that is all for today. And if you are new on this channel, I want you to subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified whenever we put up a new video. And also, if you see that this video resonates with you and you want to share it with someone, you can as well share it so that other people can have access to it just as you have access to it too. And now share your perspective as to how you view this video on the comment box so that we can all see your viewpoint and relate with you too. So God bless us all, and you can also follow us on the WhatsApp channel too, so that you can have access to some insightful updates there too. So that is all for now. Until next time, peace.